All right. Editing Sean from the future, past, however that works, I'm not sure. It's me. Uh, yeah, I've been away for a few weeks. I've had some issues going on in life, so I've missed a video or two. Been sick and a few other things. Pretty much everything's fallen apart all at once. But I'm trying to make some videos to get back on track with it. So I sat down the other day and filmed a heap of videos, I should say. Realised as I finished filming the first two of them that I had forgot to turn the microphone on, so I had to redo all that all over again. And now this time when I finally sat down to actually start editing, maybe 2 or 3 days later, of the 4 videos that I filmed, the first one is blurry. So I guess I could probably sit down and do the whole thing again. I'm going to try and put just pictures and video clips and stuff over the top of most of it, so it gets rid of a large portion of it. You're just going to have to deal with the blurry for this one video because I really don't want to film it all for a third time around. No, that's lazy. I'm sorry, the next 3 videos will not be blurry. Okay, on with the show. Where were we up to? Bananabe Treehouse. So from there, basically, my next plan was to head further north, probably only an hour or so, maybe about that long. It's not that far, I think. I wanted to go to Kawasan Falls. There was a few places in my trip which I had sort of said, I'm going to go wherever. I've said that. But there was a couple of places I really did want to see, and Kawasan Falls had been one of them because I'd been told by multiple people it was one of the best waterfalls in all the Philippines and definitely worth going to. And so I knew that was a place that I really did want to go to. So that was the plan. I was looking for a place around there to stay, and I found a place called Matutinao Beach Cottage, I think it is. I'm probably butchering that. Anyway, it's literally right near where the entrance is to the Kawasan Falls, basically. It looked nice, it looked new, it had aircon and Wi-Fi and all the stuff that you would expect from some place that's, well, not everywhere, but that's the type of stuff I look for. Normally I look for a pool, Wi-Fi, aircon, that's about it. Now, this didn't have a pool. It did say it had Wi-Fi, but when I got there, the rooms looked new, as you can see in the video. Rooms are good, aircon was good, everything was fine. It was pretty cheap, I think maybe $35 or $45 Australian a night, but there was no Wi-Fi. Well, it kind of was, not in the room. So they also do the cottages where you stay, like it's a hotel, but they also do canyoneering and like trips to the waterfall where you jump off the cliffs and into the waterfall and that sort of stuff. So they run these tours, and so they have like this sort of big outdoor area underneath a cover with seating and stuff like that. I guess it's kind of like their muster point or something for when you've got all these groups coming to do these tours. And in there they have one of those peso Wi-Fi machines. You put like 2 peso in and get half an hour of Wi-Fi off of it. So I could go and pay that and then I'd get Wi-Fi, but it wouldn't reach my room. So I'd have to sit in that area and just play on my phone then. So, I mean, I did that. I downloaded some movies on Netflix, and that way I'd have something to do that night and whatnot. So it was a little weird that it said that it had Wi-Fi in the room and didn't, but it's not the end of the world, really. They also do food there, and I had a little bit of food from there as well, which was okay. It was pretty nice. Now my plan had been to go to Kawasan Falls, and I really hadn't done anything else that day. So by the time I got there, it was maybe I slept in a bit, and then I got there. It was getting towards afternoon, and I'd said to them, "Oh, where do you go to get to Kawasan Falls?" And they were like, "Oh, it's just over the road there, just over the road." And I'm like, okay, do I need to ride the bike? And they're like, no, you can't ride the bike, you can't. And I'm like, mate, I thought it was a language issue. They were saying you're not allowed to, or maybe you needed to be in a tour group to go there or something like that. And I'm like, I'm not allowed to, or I can't. And they're like, no, you can't. You can't ride the bike. I'm like, so I have to go with a tour. And they're like, you want a tour? I'm like, well, no, not really. What I want is to just go there myself and, walk in and do it. Can I do that? I'm like, yeah, of course. You can walk. I'm like, yeah, but how far is it? Because I thought it was maybe 1 kilometre down the road or 1 kilometre up the road from where we were. And they're like, no, you walk. You just go across the road there. And I'm like, they keep saying just across the road there. I'm like, where though? Like, how far down? They're like, here. And they walked me up, and there's some steps that lead up to the entrance to their place. And then you've got the main highway, basically, that runs all the way around the edge of Cebu Island. And literally directly across the road, so it's like one lane either way, directly across the road is like this alleyway. And you would never pick it that that's the entrance into Kawasan Falls. You would never have known. I mean, I think there's a giant big sign that says Kawasan Falls, but I didn't see that, and you know, you would never know. There's no way you would have seen it. You probably would have. But I didn't see it. Anyway, so they're pointing here, there, and I'm like, that little alley. They're like, yes, yes, and you just go in, and it's up there. I'm like, how far? Because the problem was, they said, oh, there's going to be a lot of people there at this time of day. It's very busy. Better that you go tomorrow morning. Wake up and go straight away. There won't be many people. It's much better. And that appeals. But I was like, when I'd been to some of the other waterfalls, I'm like, what time? They go, well, just walk in. If there's no one there to pay, just go in and you can walk up there and just go for free then. Or if there's people, you pay and then you walk in. Okay. But I was a bit worried because I thought I'll wake up with the sun and I'll get up early and I'll go. But I've been to some other waterfalls and had a guide with me because they said, oh, you need a guide, you need a guide. And I didn't want to do those ones, but it was lucky I did because like some of them were like 40 minutes walking up into the mountains and there's like just little tracks, little trails. And, you know, you get to a point where they fork off this way or this way, you don't know, there's no signs. And then you get to another point that forks off in 4 different directions and you wouldn't know. You'd get lost and you'd end up in the mountains somewhere lost. So I was a little hesitant because I was a bit worried about that. And I said that to them and they basically said, no, it's very easy. It's all concrete the whole way. You just walk and follow the concrete and it's easy. You don't need a guide. I was like, okay. So the next morning, sun came up at, I don't know, 5:20, something like that. I got up and by 6 o'clock I was walking across the road to walk in. And there was a couple of girls that were walking sort of up there at the same time with me. And I say girls, women. And they were the ones that were going to be sitting in there taking payments and stuff. And they're like, oh, where are you going? I'm like, Kawasan. Like, oh, cool, you can come pay here. I'm like, okay, cool. It wasn't much. I don't really remember. Maybe it's like $2 or $3 Australian, maybe. Maybe it's like 150 pesos or 100 pesos. I don't know. I can't really remember, to be honest. It might have been 50 pesos for all I remember. Anyway, so I paid that and they said, do you want a guide? I'm like, no, I don't need, right? I can just follow the concrete. And they said, yeah, just do that. So I walked on and it's about, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes walk, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something. It's not far. And you start out and it's kind of open and there's the rivers running down on your left there and it's beautiful. But the further you get in, it's like you're walking into the valley of a mountain, like this mountain, big hill. Well, they're mountains, I guess. They're big mountainy sort of area with a big valley. And it's like, it's early in the morning. The sun's not yet up high enough to really shine down in there. And there's like, it's like big mountains with coconut trees and bushes and all the like greenery going up all over it all, and there's steam coming up off of them, floating up into the air, and the sun's shining down through them, and it's like, you know, when the sun shines through like steam or through fog or mist or something like that, and through trees, it makes all those like lines. It's like that everywhere, and it was stunningly beautiful. It was really, really beautiful, and I'm the only person there, and it's completely quiet. Like it's the only time in the Philippines ever that you've stopped somewhere and not heard roosters roostering, cockadoo-doing, whatever you call that. Yeah, whatever that is. What is that? What do you call that? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it was beautiful. You can see in the photos. I've taken a couple of photos there, which I'll show you. And it was really beautiful. So you keep walking up and you come to like a bridge. And at that time they had a brand new sort of concrete suspension bridge they were building over the river. But it looked finished, but it was all roped off. You weren't allowed on it. So you had to sort of walk down this edge bit, and then there was a couple of like bamboo branches. I don't know what you call them, bamboo logs. Maybe 4 or 5 of them all together, just tied together, and you sort of walked across the river, and that was slightly sketchy for a larger fellow, let's just say. I didn't fall in, but I thought I might, and that was okay. So we got there, and then around the corner, and you come to the falls, and well, you can see in the videos and photos, but I'm walking in and there's an old dude who's probably a caretaker, I'm assuming, and he's just down from the falls a little bit in the river, and he's washing his hair in the river and doing all this stuff, and you know, he's having a bath in the river, that's fine. And then I get a bit further up and there's a younger dude who's sort of setting up life jackets and stuff for the day. I'm assuming he's a caretaker or like a lifeguard type sort of person or something there. Anyway, he sees me and he's like, "Oh, hello, sir. Did you want a life jacket?" I'm like, "No, I'm good." And he's like, "Okay, cool. You can swim?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Cool, I'll let you be." So he left me alone. And probably for an hour and a half, I was the only person there. And it was just me. I got to go swimming by myself in there and taking photos by myself there. And, well, you can see in the photos, it's stunningly beautiful. And those photos don't do it justice. The water is like, it's like a blue that you haven't seen before. It's a weird coloured blue, and it's like it's got milk mixed through it or something. It's not, it doesn't feel weird. It feels like normal water, but it looks kind of like it's got milk and something blue mixed together, and it's like this milky blue colour. I don't know how else to explain it, but it was awesome. It was so beautiful, and just probably my favourite place that I went to out of all of Cebu. That was probably my favourite place. It helped, obviously, that there was no one else there, and I got to swim for an hour by myself, and it's just stunning. It was so great. And after maybe an hour or an hour and a half, like a busload of tourists started walking in all together, and I was like, right, that's me done. I'm going to get out of here now. And that's what I did. So I went and walked back down and back to the hotel and had a bit of a shower and whatnot, and jumped on the bike and started heading up north more to the next place. All right. Editing Sean again from the future. I am currently editing. You can probably see it there. And I have again gone way too long in what I thought was going to be a 10 or 12 minute video, which is now looking like 25 or 28 minutes. So I'm going to cut it in half and end it here. The continuation of it will still be blurry in the next one, so I'm sorry about that, but that's where we're at. Anyway, thank you very much. Like, subscribe, all those things, and I will see you in the next one, which will be the last of the blurry ones before we move on to better quality. Okay, thanks. Have a good one. Bye.